Welcome to Breaking Barriers to Business, a new series powered by Where It Starts, the Truist Foundation's multi-year initiative to support small businesses and open career paths. So this is in partnership with Living Cities and Main Street America. We're traveling through the Southeast, spotlighting business corridors in Atlanta, Charlotte, Memphis, Miami, and Nashville. Along the way, we'll meet inspiring entrepreneurs and discover how these cities and these corridors are expanding wealth-building opportunities for business owners. So join us as we break down barriers to business success and build a more inclusive future for all. Today, we're in Atlanta, where we'll be meeting with our local government city leaders, small business owners, and business-serving organizations who are shaping the communities that they live in. Let's jump in.
The challenges of the Grove Park corridor are that it's a state highway that runs right through the middle. It's amazing, Hollowell. But with that, the community developing, economic development strategies have suffered. Atlanta has boomed since the Olympics. It's been an incredible city to live in. But one of the challenges is all the pockets of Atlanta, the communities like Grove Park, there needs to be an intentional economic development strategy for those communities. But with that, the community developing, economic development strategies have suffered. With the growth of Atlanta, there's not been an intentional economic strategy for this community. It's a beautiful community, very small community, about 5,000 residents and several businesses here and there, but we want to really grow that economic viability and sustainability of those businesses. The good thing about Main Street and B3 and all these initiatives is that we're focusing, but in an area that economic viability is not strong, it's a lot of chaos, and really to put it, because it's a survival state. Everybody's in survival state. So one of the biggest takeaways is making sure that we have a focused line of communication, of action, and really outcomes that we are expecting for our community. Relly's is a perfect example. They are a very much thriving hospitality company. They do training. They train bartenders, they train servers, and they provide service opportunities as well for events in the Atlanta area, as well as nationwide, really. But one of the challenges that Relly's has had is the scalability. Like, how do I root myself in a place to scale?
My name is Terrell Patterson. I'm the owner of Relly's Hospitality. Some of the challenges that I had when I first started my business was getting clients was the first thing. And then after I got the clients was getting the clients to pay, to see the value in what I was doing. I'm staffing individuals out for services, and some people want to pay for that, some people don't. I had to make them realize that this service is a luxury. Anybody can do the work if they really wanted to, but a lot of people don't have the time. So you're getting back your time. Eric and Gavin together helped me get a venue in the area to start training more people at one time, to start getting more people out there and build my team so that I can send more, so I can be in more places than just one. Because I can't do the business and staff the people out and show up and bring everything in and do the inventory. But having a space in the Grove Park area, which they helped me get, allows me to do that, allows me to have someone there. So when the event is over, they can have somewhere to put all of the merchandise that's left over. The next 3 to 5 years, I want to be the #1 hospitality company in the United States. That's going to be hard, but if you don't dream big enough, then what are you doing it for? Also, within the next 5 years, we want to expand more into media arm, more into the competitions, and then more brick and mortars across the country to have a headquarters in each city. And just because it hasn't been done or it hasn't been seen, doesn't mean that I can't do it.
You know, what's so amazing about Georgia, you can start an LLC in minutes. You can go online, register, and so unfortunately people think that they're now in business. You know, you can get your EIN quickly, and you can get even a bank account quickly, and that's not business. That's an identifier of a business, right? But what is necessary right now, if I were to take a snapshot of today, right now, we need infrastructure in order to build businesses. I want Grove Park to be a business factory. Every business that comes in here, they're Grove Park ready. That's what we call it, Grove Park ready. We know that their market is intact. We know that all of their signage is appropriate. We know that their business and legal structures are in place. We know that they're not commingling funds from personal to business. We know those things. We know that they're getting audited financials. We know that they're registered with the city and they're paying their license. Their health inspections are amazing. That's infrastructure, so that they always have access to the resources that are provided by Main Street and other organizations that support us to say, hey, no, that's available. Go to that class or go to this certification or that instructor will come to you or whatever that is. That infrastructure has to be in place in order for the businesses to consistently thrive. Because starting a business is not hard. Running a business is.
I think it's really important when it comes to collaborative work, because no individual entity or institution holds the solution, right? You have to have effective collaborative work in order to go far. And I think it's beautiful with Main Street America as well as with Living Cities, because they do work that city government may have certain restrictions around, that they have much more nimbleness and flexibility in how they navigate. So if us as a governmental institution recognizes, okay, this is something that needs to be done, but there are certain barriers or restrictions that are in the way, we find partners such as Living Cities or such as Main Street who are doing the work that we can try to support and champion and leverage whatever resources we have to help clear the path, again, break the barriers for them to affect the change that we know needs to be done.
When you visit Sweet Auburn, you're visiting one of the most unique African-American cultural districts in this country. When you walk our streets, when you dine with us, when you play in downtown Atlanta, you get to see the original edifice of the first successful daily Black newspaper in the country. You get to walk casually by the first independent African-American YMCA in the country. You get to stroll by 7 contiguous storefronts that were Green Book sites in the 1960s. African-American cultural heritage exists not just in prose, but physically in the fabric of our neighborhood. And here in Sweet Auburn, when you visit us, you can be a part of using that history as a foundation for our growth. You can't tell the story of Sweet Auburn without addressing the harm that was created from the construction of Highway I-75/85, literally ripping the neighborhood apart between the 1950s and 1960s. That harm was documented in how many places of worship we lost, how many residences we lost, how many livelihoods and businesses that were all once a thriving part of Sweet Auburn that were essentially erased almost overnight. But we're hopeful that with the right community engagement, the right vision, the right focus, that despite of its existence in our neighborhood, we can still grow and still use it as a catalyst for growth to ensure that it enhances our economic development, it enhances our transportation options, it enhances our pedestrian access, and we make sure this is a great place to live, work, visit, play, dine, be a wonderful part of the city of Atlanta. Pal's Lounge represents over 3 generations of small business excellence in the Sweet Auburn community. Thankfully, with the assistance from the National Main Street Center and Living Cities with Truist, we got a chance to listen to Pal's and other small businesses to ensure that we heard what they needed outside of our existing assistance. And the consortium of Living Cities and Main Street and Truist allowed us to bring new capital to solve some persistent old problems that Pal's and others have been having.
My name is Devin Woodson. I'm the owner of Pal's Lounge and the property owner of 254 Auburn Avenue. Pal's was started by my great-grandfather, and so it was kind of natural that the older I got, continuing the legacy and making my mark on the street. the challenges with my business are, and many businesses are, financial security, not just personally in your business, but in the entire neighborhood. When neighborhoods go through transitions, people suffer. If there's construction across the street for a year, my business suffers. There's no parking. In order for businesses to go forward, we need to have institutions and we need to have programming that supports the businesses. And so, people like Liano and Sweet Auburn Works and an initiative like B3, it comes in our community in a time of need. That's what I see. I mean, throughout time on Auburn Avenue, there's been a lot of barriers to break through, a lot of barriers, all kinds of barriers, financial prejudice, all kinds of things. Many businesses, they're not around anymore. And so for me, it's just continuing the legacy of entertainment and be a beacon in the neighborhood, for the future.
One of the popular cliches in community development is that it takes a village, typically to raise a child. In community economic development, we also believe that it takes a village to support a small business. And that village that we consider to be the ecosystem that ensures that small businesses that normally aren't on the radar for capital or technical assistance have what they do need to thrive and grow in places where those resources aren't readily available. So our partnership with Living Cities and the National Main Street Center, ensuring that this program can fill those gaps, can create that ecosystem, can help secure that village for our small businesses is very important. I believe the community's most pressing goals over the next 5 years are ensuring that we're one of the best neighborhoods for a small business to land as they grow in the city of Atlanta. We're hopeful that our community's real estate potential is fully realized. We desperately want to change this neighborhood's relationship to the highway, I-75/85, that tore the fabric of the neighborhood 60 years ago. And we also want to make sure that if you call Sweet Auburn your home, it's your favorite neighborhood in the city of Atlanta.
The best outcome is upward mobility for the individuals who we're working with, so that if Living Cities, Main Street America, Truist dries up and the city of Atlanta, goes away, these communities are able to be self-sustaining and supportive on their own, or they're able to go and find the support outside of just us. So there's not a dependency. They have upward mobility, they're educated, they know how to make the best financial decisions, business decisions, and they are supportive of uplifting the ecosystem of their community.
Sweet Auburn is open for business.
Historic West End is very unique in that it has the largest concentration of Afrocentric cultural assets and just the vibe, in the city of Atlanta. We're less than 10 minutes from downtown, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, City Hall, all of those beacons within the city of Atlanta, we sit right there. So accessibility is something that is advantageous to a lot of people that have eyes on the community because of where we sit. Some of our challenges is that we are facing a lot of urban development, which is usually a good thing, but we know that sometimes with urban development and gentrification, there comes the possibility or the threat of cultural erasure. So that's something that we're really trying to have not happen within the corridor. Again, some of the things that are challenging for us are we have a large homeless population. And there has been, remnants of crime that weave through our corridor as well. We were really excited to be a part of the cohort because minority business owners face challenges that the larger small business population don't really face. Most of those challenges are ignored. and just often not considered. Living Cities and Main Street, they got everybody in a room, they got everybody talking, they got everybody conversating, and created a space, a safe space for people to share what those challenges are, and they're listening. You have business owners that run their businesses, and you have business owners that are very much community minded, very much in the spirit of building and helping to shape what their commercial corridors look like. And Bakari is a perfect example of that. He's been in the West End for over a decade, so he's contributed to the community. He serves, the majority of his clients are actually AUC students that come and support his business. So he has watched students come and go and grow, and been one of those safe spaces for them to come and congregate, as well as a space that they can come and get nourishment.
My name is Haj Bakari Sila. I'm the owner and the founder of Bakari's Pizza here in the West End. When I came from California as a computer network engineer, the West End is the first place I lived, because a friend of mine was going to Morehouse at the time, and he lived down the street, literally about 2 blocks from where we're talking to each other now. So from that moment, I fell in love with the West End. One of the biggest challenges is I literally was coming from a tech background, and now I was going into food and beverages, an industry that I knew little or nothing about, at that time. I remember the initial challenge was, how am I going to pull this off? But then COVID was also a challenge. Everyone was going home because people were getting PPP, getting paid a whole bunch of money to stay home. So nobody wanted to work. So I had to get very, very creative, and I came up with a system where I said, look, I took 3 people. I literally sat down with 3 people and said, look, let's do revenue sharing. Don't go home. I need 3 people to back me up so that whatever money comes in, we pay the bills and we split it. And that's how we were able to open during that time, talking about challenges and adaptability. And we ended up making more money during COVID when everybody else was shut down than any time before or after. I always tell people, if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. So the power of community has been one of the pillars of my entrepreneurial success. We're looking forward to the next, not 3 to 5, we're looking to the next 10 to 15 years. We want Bakari to be a destination location. When I hear breaking barriers to business, I'm thinking access. I'm thinking support for small business. I'm thinking information, I'm thinking training, I'm thinking funding, because those are the barriers that small businesses have.
A lot of times people look at the glamorous part of the business. They see the lights and they see, the decor, and they see the Instagram followers, and that doesn't tell the complete story. When it comes to a lot of minority business owners, they are solopreneurs, they're micro enterprises. And so when you take on that charge, it's very daunting, and it's not for the average person because it's not guaranteed. You have to show up and turn those lights on and turn the music on whether someone crosses your threshold or not. And these are things that people don't think about. These are things that people don't talk about. And sometimes it's very hard for these business owners, but they continue to show up.
It's not simple, because if it was simple, it would have been solved already, right? That's why you have to bring multiple people to the table, because when we look at barriers when it comes to Black and Brown wealth and Black and Brown upward mobility, there's education, there's access, right? We're talking about capacity building. We're talking about narrative. What's the reputation of this area? What is the income and education level of this area, and why is it that way? It didn't just happen to be that this is the underperforming school and this is where poverty is, and it happens to be that people who are born into poverty will also die into poverty almost 100% of the times. It's reasons behind that. So we kind of have to pull those curtains back and dig a little bit deeper than just saying, oh, this area is underfunded, we just need to put money in there. No, it's a story behind that, and those are the breadcrumbs we have to follow.
Behind every small business, there's a person who wakes up every morning and works passionately hard to ensure that their customers are taken care of, they have what they need, and their product or service is well received by their audience. It takes a community of assistance, of help, of support to ensure those individuals realize their greatest potential, their goals, their small business goals.
When one business is successful, then another business can look at that business and take inspiration, and they can be inspired to go forth and add to their communities in a way that maybe they hadn't thought of before. We firmly believe in each one, teach one. Greatness resonates, and it ripples out. People take notice of that.
When you say breaking barriers, you're coming with a bulldozer, you're not coming with a fly swat. Like, you coming to knock it down. So as long as we're all committed to knocking it down, we'll win.
Now that's a wrap on this stop in Atlanta, but the journey does not end here. Join us at our next stop as we continue spotlighting vibrant business corridors and the entrepreneurs shaping their communities. See you in the next city.